The forthcoming two presentations, a plenary and a workshop, are from the founder of the innovative educational and English language teaching approach in Russia called Suprise Pedagogy, Pedagogika Удивления. The name is Dr. Peter Anatolievich Stepichev of Moscow. He and his team of dedicated professionals are putting forward the idea that true learning starts with surprise as the basic emotion to trigger motivation for acquiring new knowledge and skills. The sources of surprise at the lesson are facts, methods, and feelings capable of doing things that students have never done before. At the heart of the concept of surprise pedagogy are also authentic cultural resources which help motivate both English language teachers and learners. In the plenary and the subsequent workshop, Dr. Peter Stepichev will be sharing some of his very practical ideas and experiences to motivate the students and develop their authentic English language competencies. The plenary title is Teaching Authentic English and Culture Skills Through Authentic Realia. Dr. Peter Anatolievich Stepichev is an EFL teacher trainer and author, National Association of Teachers of English in Russia Executive Director and Vice President of Moscow English Language Teachers Association, and is also the Teacher of the Year 2012 Laureate. Dr. Peter Anatolievich, good morning from all of us here in Ufa. Thank you very much indeed for joining our platform. Welcome, and over to you now.
Good morning, colleagues. Good morning, Vyacheslav Dmitrovich. Thank you so much for invitation. It's if I'm not mistaken, my fourth time in Ufa,
Absolutely
but my
right.
first time online. But EPIC and Ufa ELTA is innovative, creative, and any way you connect people, even in such conditions. And it's great that we can have this forum as we had it like every year, and it's on and on. And I also greet you on behalf of National Association of Teachers of English. We're going to have our umbrella conference pretty soon, so I guess we will meet again with some of you there. Nate appreciates what you do in Ufa. You're one of the most active associations, affiliates that we have, and it's great that I can be part of this work that you are doing. So teaching authentic English and culture skills, authentic realia, that is a railway station in Ufa, the first building I see when I come to conferences and forums in person. Well, and now we go on to the next slide, which is this one. There's a definition of realia, and here I have like two menus. The first picture is taken in 2012 in the UK, and well, actually it's kind of hobby. I get as many authentic materials from the places I visit as possible, I love authentic materials. I'll show you how I use it at the lesson. I bribe waiters, and instead of buying food or dishes or whatever you usually buy or get in a restaurant or a cafe, I buy menus. So the first one I bought for a few pounds 8 years ago. The last one I bought last year in America. That is just an example of how I love authentic materials. How can we use authentic materials? Usually for three main purposes. Realia can teach us culture practices and routines of people in a different country. It can teach us vocabulary. It can teach us grammar. In most cases, it can teach us all three aspects at a time. The first slide is about culture, practice, and routines. I have a special course with teachers and students. And part of this course is a chat in WhatsApp. We discuss things in English. I post a picture or a video and we discuss it. And then we have a webinar. So it is part of this course. We see here a few things that are not common in Russia. In the middle, we can see a report from a kindergarten. That is a real report. My sister is a US citizen, and her son goes to a kindergarten in America, and they send these reports. I also have a small kid. He is now in the kindergarten too, here in Russia, but teachers don't send us such reports. That's quite interesting. We see here that Damir slept for 2 hours and 6 minutes, so they're very precise. At the same time, we see what he eats or what he had that day, and we can also compare, like they don't have meals so many times, and well, they have a different kind of meal compared to the Russian kindergartens where they have soups and they eat a lot, and they eat actually a different kind of food. So it can be a trigger to motivate students communicate. Like you cannot just come to a classroom and say, okay, now I want you to talk, just talk. You need a reason for that. You need a subject matter, and it can be used as such. So it is interesting as a document itself, and it is interesting as this trigger for communication. Here we can also see the laundry process, and it is a laundromat in America. I post pictures, we discuss it. Those who visited the US share their experiences, and again we see the realia and how it works to trigger communication. One more example here is a receipt from restaurant, and we can see that they include lots of taxes there, which is uncommon for Russia because taxes can be different, not just the kind of taxes we have in Russia. And they also include tips. Many of you know they do, but for students, for my students, it is usually a surprise because it's different from what we have here. Teaching vocabulary is really interesting. And here are a few words that you may be interested in. Right in the middle, we see the word thangri. Thangri, here you have the answer, but I usually just give it as a question. What is thangri? What may it mean? And then we discuss like what kind of thing it is. Is it an adjective? Is it a noun? Is it a verb? And many students first guess it is some kind of attribute, like to be thangri. And then we gradually come up to the idea that thangri is hungry plus thirsty. So instead of saying I'm hungry and I'm thirsty, you can just say I'm thangri. It's not just a word that I take from a dictionary or from a textbook. It is a real picture. I usually use just pictures with me in the background because I want to show my students that these pictures are real and taken recently. And it adds authority to these pictures because students realize that that is the real use of English. That is the real way English is used
in the country where people speak English. Here we also see, again, as I have the whole big course on teaching really, here I just choose some of the items and comment on them. But usually the idea is that I choose a topic for a day. For example, restaurants. The next day is like museums, like that. But here, I just would like to give you the idea of how it works and how you can use really. So spam. You can buy spam in a shop in America. And like many of you know that spam, the real first initial spam is not about junk mail. It is about food. You can buy different kinds of spam in America. And I show this picture to my students and we discuss where it comes from. We discuss the history, how this word emerged from the American military first, and then it spread all over the world. And only Americans know what real spam is about, that you can taste spam. I also show some things that you may find around you when you travel by car. Here we see a bum, and it is one more example that literal word-for-word translation doesn't work, because in Russia we have лежачий полицейский. You cannot translate it word for word. It is a very different thing. It is more like shishka or Gorbik or, well, but most of students guess what it is because they see the context, the road, the cars, and they usually, especially those who have cars, they usually guess what it is. And one more picture here is condensed milk sgushionka. This picture was taken in Brighton Beach. And here, when you come to the shop, Tashkent, you see lots of labels in Russian, but just the prices are in dollars. It is like our 90s, like you go to the shop, you see the goods in Russian labels, but the prices are in dollars or yeah. It produces an interesting impression. But what I like there is the way they translate our Russian labels into English. I mean, on the packages themselves. We also cover the way they count calories, because they have this idea of serving size. So the Russian products say, okay, so many calories in 100 grams. But in America, that's a very interesting system where you have serving size. You know that for 22 crackers, 22 crackers is serving size. And in a pack, you have, let me say 10 serving, like takes 10 servings. It means that you have 220 crackers in a pack. So you can count how many calories you consume just eating one cracker. So that's quite interesting. That's a different concept from what we have here, because we count 100 grams instead of counting the product itself. Teaching grammar. We can teach grammar differently. Here I used Greyhound instruction. What you should and should not do, what you are not supposed to do when you're in a bus. And I transformed it into ЕГЭ-ОГЭ format, our Russian federal exams format. And you should fill in the gap with the proper form. And the answer is actually the document itself. One more good thing about teaching grammar this way is that students don't have the answers, because they really like this get a there materials, the ready homework materials. It's quite difficult to find an answer to that. And if you are able to do that, you are a professional in searching information, because you can go to Greyhound site And you can find this document online. I guess they have it online because this document, I took a picture from the wall. It's the picture of the wall in their building, in their office. But you probably can get it online, but you need to search, you need to be professional, you need to go to Greyhound where you don't have the Russian version. And you need to be able to come to this document. If you can find document this way, maybe it's even more important compared to the fact that you have not done your grammar task, but just found an answer. Yeah, I can see the questions. I'll probably answer some of them later on. Well, and overcoming grammar nihilism. Many of our students say, we don't like grammar, we don't need grammar, just teach us speaking. And in some cases it's reasonable, but in other cases it's just about not willing to, well, to rationally consume English, but to, there's some students think that they just need present simple and past simple and that's all. Because they think people don't use it in real life. But here we see an ad, a billboard, texts will be sent, apps will be launched, meetings will be arranged, tweets will be tweeted. So we can see that it's not just present and past simple. The grammar here is more complicated and still it's real. I see, and I got ready many materials proving that sometimes you need to understand that have is not just imeo, but have can be a part of grammar construction. And it's important to know, because if you don't know it, you will be lost in communication. And coming back to the word thangri, I saw it several times, but usually in writing. So it's not just a play on word of a particular shop, it is common, but at the same time, I cannot say they really use it in oral communication. But that's a good question. I'll probably ask my my sister, who has been in America for 11 years. Maybe she may add something to that. I'll ask her, and by the end of the lecture, I'll probably add more comments. But from my experience, they usually write it, but they don't usually say it. But when you see it, you should realize what it is, because it is a new word for many of us. When you see it, you don't recognize it usually. Teaching, just a moment. Yeah, that is also what I like. Using authentic materials helps us to show that word for word translation doesn't work in real life. For example, this one, режим работы бассейна. You translate it with the help of Yandex and you see pool operation mode. Or you may have like regime, pool regime, but when you check pool operation mode in Google, what you see is how pumps work, how pipes are connected. So it's not about hours at all. It's not about time. It's about how the swimming pool works. So if you type pool operation mode, you will not know when to come to the pool. You will know how to build it. So it's a different word. So Yandex here is kind of mistaken. What we see in real life we see pool hours. That's a straightforward, easy, and great way of saying that. It is, well, you should think English to come to this idea of pool hours. And I have the whole collection of hours. For example, gallery hours, Santa Claus hours, just hours. So that is really common. But surprisingly, most of students are at a loss when they see such things in Russian. They want to render it into English, and they get it wrong because they translate it like hours of operation of the pool, something like that. So it sounds not English, actually. Some examples of tasks. What do I do? Again, I use a document, a real document. For example, this one, I'm sorry, but I've taken them that in a WC. I learn everywhere. If I see something interesting in a WC, I take a picture of it. So it is a hand washing procedure. It was 2019 before COVID, but they have it. They have this instructions in many places. What I did, I took away the points, mixed them up, and the idea is to get it right in the right order. A simple task about filling in the gaps, as we saw in receipt. A task like that, the tasks themselves are common for our learners, but if you use authentic material and your own experience as a tourist, it is more attractive to students, because for some reason they think that what comes from your personality, not from a textbook, is something closer to life. Though we understand that modern textbooks, they are published like not many years. The publishing procedure is quicker, so the language there is good and it is authentic. But still, for many students, when you say, I've just heard that word when I traveled, it is an authority, like they understand that this kind of language is used. Here you can copy my links later on. I'll also type it in the chat. Well, I'll be glad if you join me in social network, VK or Facebook. If you do that, I'll send you the materials, including an instruction when to smile from real hospital. They have such an instruction, like at what distance you should make an eye contact, when you should smile. That's quite interesting. On the one hand, it sounds kind of weird. On the other hand, they really do it. I mean, I have an example of visiting the Russian hospital and the American hospital. And well, it doesn't matter that they have an instruction about that. That's good that they do it. I'll send this kind of instruction to you if you join me in VK or Facebook. And one more example is transport. That's huge. That's a great topic to discuss. When you travel, well, actually all kinds of transport can be kind of difficult when you travel for the first time. For example, here we have fares, a table of fares from Subway, New York. And it takes some time to really understand how it works, not to pay more than you expected to pay. Here we have read the instructions and calculate, and a few tasks, like how much should you pay if you're a tourist, how much should you pay if you're a senior citizen, what should you buy, what is better to buy, what can you do if you have just $100. Again, that is small, but I can send you a bigger version if you join me. And that is the course itself. You can join it. Our team is not just me. But my sister, who is a US citizen, research scientist, and she also takes part in this chat, because the course itself is a few webinars and a chat. But anyway, even materials that I showed today, they are quite ready to use. I mean, some of the materials you may like copy this one, for example, and use it with the students, or you can take any of the receipts you have and transform it. You see, fill in the gaps with these yellow gaps, yeah? So my idea is that you can transform, transform everything into teaching material. As a teacher, I usually do that. I mean, I have kind of like, maybe it's mental already. It's probably it's even a problem. But when I see something in real life, I want to take it to the lesson. That's the problem many teachers have. Like, when you see something, you think, oh, how can I apply it at the lesson? And that's why these traveling and IVLP experiences are very important for me, and I get a lot from these experience to the classroom. One more small addition, not about the authentic rally, but about our community here. This year, many of our affiliates go online, and you can check what's going on in Russia by going to join NATE or naterussia.ru, and you will learn more about, for example, iTravel competition. Your students can record a video and send it to the jury and get prizes and get certificates. That's quite interesting. It's a NATE, National Association of Teachers of English contest. The name is iTravel, yeah? And at MELTA, we also have a few, actually we have 7 annual festivals and competitions. And this year they're also online. For example, your students may read a book and present it. This festival will be in November, or it can be your students' own poetic work, poetry, storytelling. So I also send you the link. You can participate in all events in Russia and in Moscow. Technology gives us such an opportunity. And some of my contacts at the end of this first talk, because we are moving from using authentic materials to pedagogy of surprise. So if you have any questions on Realia and using teaching with the help of Realia the Classroom, you're mostly welcome to ask your questions.
So we can move on to your workshop, which relates to your conceptual approach in surprise pedagogy. And the title is New Surprise Pedagogy Games to Keep Students Motivated and Involved at the English Language Lesson. So those of us who have been to a series of presentations of Peter Anatolievich here in Ufa, yes, they have been very productive, very inspirational, and the teachers left our seminars with great ideas, and the gifts and the grammar cups and grammar cubes, which work all over Bashkortostan now. So thank you very much, Peter Anatolievich. You are very, very special to all of us here in Ufa.
Yeah, thank you. I see how it works really. I do a thing called ego search, when you type your name and see what you can find. And I see many teachers using my methods. That's a very important thing that inspires me to create new things and to improve the old things. And
Today I will dwell on both, actually, on what I've created and what I've developed. Thank you so much. First of all, I'll show you the pictures of children. Children, yeah, here. Children are here. So we can see here different children. Again, I did a search in the engine, and I found lots of pupils, or as Americans say, students, school students. What is your general impression about these students? What do they look like? What can you say about them? You can comment in the chat. Yeah, they are. Thank you. Yeah, they are happy, amused. Yeah, I agree, absolutely. So most of them, yeah, I see your adjectives are really positive, and it's true to life. That's what we see here. Just looking at the students, we realize that these are students that really love learning. One is said, oh, yeah, probably, but that is a real experiment. I didn't delete, I didn't use any of the programs to move children or to choose some children and put them in the right order. That is just a print screen. So we see that most of the children are happy about their learning, about going to school. But what is a trick here? A trick is that these students are drawn by professionals. These are pictures, not photos. These are drawings. So that is how we see children. Like when teachers are asked to draw children, I haven't done that, by the way. We should try it in one of our offline seminars, like what a child would be if you're asked to draw a child. I expect that most of us will be quite positive about drawing a child. I mean, the child, a student, will usually, will probably draw a happy child, but I'm not sure about that. I'm just thinking I can try it. I mean, with real people. But what internet says, drawings about happy children. If we take, if we change our request, and if we ask Yandex or Google to show us photos, we see a different situation. And that is what we see. So the same student, but it's not a drawing, it's not a picture that created by professionals or created by adults, that is a photo. And here, it is different. We still have some enthusiastic children, but some children are not happy about their learning. Again, it's a real picture, you can check me. It's a real print screen. Half of children all emotions are different. Yeah, I agree, absolutely. Part of them and half of them are not happy about their learning. Though they're quite young, at that age, many students are still happy about their learning. But again, when we say ученик, well, search engines associate this word with children. That's quite interesting. We don't see adult learners, though in real life, like many of us teach students and adult learners, but here we don't see we don't see them. Yeah, exhausted, tired, bored. Some of them are calm, and they experience real different emotions. So photos show real emotions that students have. And here comes my first conclusion. It is formulated not by me, but these are two ideas that I really like. An idea by Shalva. A lesson should be viewed by a teacher as a gift for children. So according to Shalva, teachers should look at the lesson something like that, like here we see in the picture. And one more, idea is an idea of Anatole France. Knowledge should be given delicious taste in order to be digested properly. So we should add some flavor that will change our learners and make them closer to picture number one, which is easier said than done. But I'll show you a few ways to do that. First of all, the first idea, you can try it without any materials or games. I show it with the help of my game Word Pile, but you can do it with any cards that you have, or you can just write the word yourself. To do so, the method is called fortune telling. You ask your students a question: what will you do with in November? So here you show a card to your students, but you don't tell what is in a card. You don't tell a word. Usually our task is, okay, make expressions or sentences with this word, but that is different. You don't say a word, but you just ask your students to say or to write a verb, like what will you do with this category of people or things. It can be a thing, it can be any noun in November. Well, let me reformulate it a little bit. So here we have a noun, but your task now in the chat is to write verbs, like what will you do? And later on, I'll show you the card and you will learn with what object or thing or with what noun you will do your action. For example, I want to, let me say, to admire it. Okay, yeah. So I want to admire it. I will admire it in November. Or I can admire it in November. So what will you do in November with this noun that you have on this card? So let's write our verbs here. It can be any verb because you don't know the card, so you can use any verb. You will enjoy it in November. Great. It can be just one word, one verb. Yeah. You can use it in November. Sounds good. You can learn it in November. Great. That's why I like technology, because usually I write it on the board, or my students come to the board to write it, to know who wrote this or that word. You want to meet it in November, to see it in November, to play with it in November, to read it in November, to teach it in November, to get rid of it in November. Okay, great. We have lots of versions. To eat it in November. Well, usually I not just ask one verb, I try to make it a small conversation. For example, my students, one of my students say, I want to use it in November. And they say, how will you use it? I want to learn it in November. And I ask, what will you learn from it? I want to see it. And I ask, where will you see it? So I add one more phrase to make like small talk around it. If you write, I want to eat it in November, my question is, who will cook it for you? So it's a small talk, but we still don't know what we're talking about. And that is the funniest thing, because when we change slide, we see that we are talking about children. So you want to enjoy children in November, you want to use children in November, you want to learn children in November. We keep teaching and learning children all the time. You want to meet children in November, you want to see children in November. So we make phrases using the verb and a word that now we know. You want to play with children, you want to read probably with children. You want to teach children in November. You want to get rid of children in November. Oh no. And you want to eat children in November. Now, if we have children here, they should be scared. So the fun thing here is that we don't know what to expect, and you can do it multiple times and still children will like it. You can do it with teachers, you can do it with textbooks, so you can do it with my cards that you can buy, or you can do it with any cards actually. Why I use my cards is that I choose several cards. First I show my students several cards, and sometimes I don't know myself what exactly is chosen. But you can also write a few words on different cards and then do it with one of the cards. So it's easily done, and you can try it. I don't know, today's Tuesday. Yeah, you can try it today. If you have lessons in the evening, you can try it today. Yeah, thank you so much. You can use it. So these are the cards that I use for that. But it's better to play games rather than describe games. So I'll just show you a slide and go on. That is the series of games that I have. So one more thing that you may find useful is online platform for games. And the reason I tell you that is that they have free games, and again, you can use them as simple as that. They have different authors there of Znania platform. I'll just describe how my games on that platform work. What is the idea of this gaming platform? Especially for those who use my box versions of cards. Usually to play board games with students, we need a table, a game, and players who know the rules. So what do we have here? A teacher generates a link and sends this link by any like social media, WhatsApp, it can be any way of sending that. You generate a link and you send it to all students that you want to join. The limitation is 8 students, from 2 to 8. What does it mean from 2? It means you can play it with your private students. For example, some of my students here in Moscow now are on distant learning. It's their own decision. Some of them still come to my place, and some say, okay, we don't want to risk it anymore, or we just live far away from you. So I have them online. So I can invite 1 student, or I can invite 8 students, and we are together in one gaming room. What is the main rule here? When you put a card, the next person should put a different topic. For example, you put red, you can put dog on red. Let me say, okay, I'll type it in the chat. For example, player 1, red. Player 2, dog. Player 3, bus. Player 4, tram. Oops. If you have a tram on bus, you take all the cards that were there before. Like you put tram and you take red, dog, and bus in your, well, these cards are in your hands now. So the idea is to put cards one after another, but try to put different topic. For example, when I have cards already, for example, I have this red, dogs, bus, tram. When I see that they have, what do they have here? School, yeah? On this card, I can choose from my hand, I can choose any word with a different topic. That is the key principle of the game. Anyway, you can try how it works on Znania platform. You usually you need just several minutes to start the game, and then you really see how the game works. Oh, it doesn't work as a link, but still. Okay. So I have Yummy game. It's about food, the food vocabulary, first steps for those who just start their way in English. Well, Vznania platform is free for computers. And actually, Vznania is the host platform. It is, well, some people compare it to Quizlet. It's something like Russian variant of Quizlet. Vznania, I mean the host platform. But Games Vznania is part of this platform. And it features many authors, including Trendy English, Artyom Morozov, many really fabulous games. But several games of each author are usually free. Not usually, they're always free. And they change. So you can go to the platform. If you don't want to buy a subscription, you can find any game you want to play from the free list of games that they have. That's quite interesting. That's true. That's a really good question about the time. And I should boast here a little bit. I'm the only author that has a timer in the game. In this game, you can put a timer on 5 minutes, for example. And in 5 minutes, the system will count how many cards all participants have. And the participant with the fewest cards will win. So you can play naturally, like till all the cards end, and it will take you from 5 to 15 minutes, depending on your luck, on number of participants, from 5 to 15 minutes. But you can also set a timer, and you can play 5 minutes, even 3 minutes. But for the first time, when you just learn the rules, it's better to set a timer at least on 5. But you can also play like really later on, you can play short, like 3 minutes or 10 minutes, yeah? Oh, thank you, great. So timer helps you to be, well, to be the boss here, yeah? Like you control the time. Because with games, it's usually difficult to control the time. You cannot say like, okay, now stop playing, nobody wins, we just killed our time. No, here, the system will stop the game and it will tell you the winner if you set a timer. Age limit, no, I guess there is no age limit. It's more about the level of students. If you play first steps, the words are simple. And you see, teachers choose categories for the game. So you choose from 4 to, I guess, to 8 categories. In a game, you choose what categories to play. And I play with adult students as well. I play, usually I play Game for Travelers. Because they need this vocabulary to travel, shopping, characteristics of goods, kinds of transport, city, money. So Game for Travelers is popular among grown-up population. And what I do, I can play with online and offline students. For example, online student is, I don't know, in a different district of Moscow. One more student is in Taganrog, and one more student is here by my side. And we play together. And I play even with different private students. For example, I have, they never meet in real life because they are different age. They come in different time. And, but when I developed it in summer, and I had really poor internet in summer, it was not Moscow, but I invited students, my private students, in one gaming room and offered them a topic, for example, Game for Travelers, because everyone needs vocabulary. And now I'm developing irregular verbs, so irregular verbs will be here. And they all play. And in summer, students usually don't like to study. Many of our students study from late September to early May, and then they quit. But if you invite students to such activities, it's not just about studying, it's studying plus gaming. It's closer to camps, linguistic camps. So they like it. And what I also did, I split the cost of the lesson into 8 parts. And it was really cheap to join this. I mean, for students. But it depends what you do. Some of the games I played for free, and I invited students not just to forget English and not to forget me as their teacher. And sometimes I did it like small lessons. The winners get this. I should have added that to the slide. They have this special screen with "You are the winner," and you know exactly who is the winner, and they have the music for the winner. And then you decide like what to do with the winners. Actually, you can give them prizes. I give mudriks. A mudrik is a stamp. It's like a point. Mudrik comes from the word mudrost, or from the word mood, good mood. So when students have many mudriks, 100 mudriks, I give them a real prize. Usually something bought in America, some souvenir. So that is my way of transforming. Some teachers put marks. For example, you win, you have the mark, because it depends not only on luck. It depends on how students know vocabulary. If students keep asking you, what is this card? What is Wednesday? Or what is like this word? It means that they tell you their cards and you can win. So for students, the task is to try to remember the words themselves. You can help them. But like in a real game, if you have cards, usually you don't say, what is it? Нарисованный король, что это значит, что это за карта? Like you will know the cards of your students and you will win if students keep asking you about their cards. Yeah, they have smartphones, so it is possible to play with the help of a smartphone, though the words there are smaller. So they have smaller words there. Well, let's proceed. I can get back to that topic at the end if you have questions, okay? That's something I'd like to show you. Just a moment. Yeah. Oh, so here I have a hieroglyph. Yeah, when we work distantly, that's the tool to work distantly. You invite your students with the help of a link, and they are in the same room. It's like Zoom, but for games. Oh, by the way, for these games, you don't need any Zoom, any Skype. It is self-sufficient. You just enter this gaming space and you need nothing else. So here we see a word, several words in Chinese. It is kind of strange, yeah. Well, by using these Chinese characters, I will show how effect of isolation works. It can work, and what it is. It can work in a different way. I can show you this Chinese characters, or I can just switch off the screen. So what is the idea of the isolation effect? The idea is you do something that students don't expect you to do. For example, that's a presentation in English, but I show you a Chinese word. Or that should be a video, but I close everything and you see a black screen. It's something, and it's not a technical problem. It's something that I do on purpose, and it's strange. Like, why am I doing so? The idea is to attract the attention of your students, of your learners, with the help of something unexpected. For example, why have I closed the screen? I want you to remember the background. I was sitting in a room and with some background, and my question is, what do you remember from my background? What do you remember from the screen? Like, any ideas? If you saw not only my presentation, but my video, what do you remember before I closed the screen? What was there? Lots of books behind the wall. Okay, great. Basketball ring. Great. Toys, games. Oh, you are attentive. Anything else? Did I have any tie? Do you remember my clothes? Like any tie or like color of my shirt or sweater? No tie? Okay. Glasses? Okay, yeah. White shirt? Okay. Yeah. Okay, great. Short dark hair. Smiling face. Yeah, teddy, light blue. Okay. Yeah, let it be just 10 more seconds and I'll open the the camera. To be on the safe side, I used a handkerchief to put on the camera, and I didn't do it technically because I'm afraid of doing such things during the presentation. I just covered it. Okay, 10, 9, 8. Oh, blue tie. Like, 2 people say I have no tie, but you think I have a blue tie. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So here I am back to you. And you see that I really had a basketball ring and games and toys and books. And you are right, I have a blue tie. I just put it off, but it was there. Now I put it back. I had a blue tie, you're right. Why I use this task at the lesson is that, well, the idea here is the students, after this task, they keep looking at the screen very attentively. I get their attention, and as soon as I get their attention, I can tell them about present perfect, or I can teach them anything, any material, because they are more attentive. And you can use it with your students. Just cover your screen for a little bit, ask this question, and then when you open the screen, they will look at you like this. So you're welcome to use it. And the same is about these words, I love you. It's in Chinese, I love you. It's also a restore effect. Presentation is in English, but this one is in Chinese. And it's likely for you to remember that there was a slide in Chinese. So that works this way. If you see something different from your experience, you remember it better. So as you see, I'm for the emotions of students. I will say probably a debatable thing, but even scared students are better than bored students. So if you add emotions to your classroom, it is great. If you add surprise to your classroom, it's even better. So any kind of emotion is good. And a few more things that work for emotions and for visual and kinesthetic learners. You might know some of these methods, but I'll just briefly tell about them. So that is a grammar mug. It's a digestible grammar for visual learners. What I do is I put a special sticker on a mug, and I open Fanta or and I pour grammar. It's глоток грамматики. I pour grammar here, and I have imperative. If you look from down up, I have imperative, read, help, play. Then I have affirmative sentence. We play, I read, they help. Then I have a general question. And then if we add more, I have a special question. So I show my students that it's impossible to skip do or did, because you cannot have Fanta, then no Fanta, and then Fanta again. So you may have a general question or a special question, but you will never have where I read or where you play. So it's impossible to have Fanta. No, it's impossible not to have Fanta in the middle. So you should follow this pattern. If you don't follow it, it's it's against the laws of physics. So I use this grammar mark to show how word order works. One more thing I take any objects that do not belong to the lesson and turn it into something that belongs to the lesson. For example, this is an old basin. I took it to the lesson and put it on my table. And half of my students and also teachers who were present asked me why I needed it. When I put a textbook, nobody asks me questions. They know what I will do for sure. If they see something that do not belong to the lesson, they keep asking questions. And for me as a teacher, a question asked from students is more important than the answer they give. I see my mission as promoting asking questions. And I even try, I use any method to make my students ask questions. So, but if I have this basin, I should use it somehow. It's like Chekhov's gun on the wall. So if I have a gun, it should shoot. If I have this unusual thing at the lesson, it should work at the lesson. So how it worked at the lesson? I asked my students to write words with the help of a corrector on this object. So it's a spelling game. And they like spelling like this more compared to the spelling tasks when they go to the blackboard. It's not blackboard, it's some unusual object, and they really loved, like they wanted to spell the word. And they came one by one, and we had spelling, we had many words all around the basin. And though it is broken and it cannot be used in its initial purpose, but for English it worked really fine. And then they took pictures with it, and they remembered these words that we used for spelling game here. One more thing we can use for spelling is vocabulary puzzle. It's my game. Now we have autumn topic there. Many of my students and many students of my partners create words on this puzzle. It's like Russian пятнашки, like you create words. You can make 10,500 words with the help of this game. Usually, what I ask my students to do is to make a word and take a picture of a puzzle and of a real word. One more thing you can do is to try to surround your students with English. That's what we did with juice. I asked my students to put stickers on everything they see in Russian. And we have a collection of juices here. Favorite instead of любимый, kind instead of добрый. When they open their fridge, they see words in English and they remember these words. And definitely I use my Grammar Cubes Gramic, and I use it online. How can I use it online? I first give it to my students. And when I rotate Grammar Cubes in my hands, they do the same at their place. So on the one hand, it's online, but on the other hand, we both have the same product. We share the same thing. They say if you want a virtual date with your loving mate, you should order the same food. For example, you order pizza. It was like a recommendation for self-isolated lovers. You order pizza, they order pizza, and you eat the same pizza and look at each other. We have the same with our students. They have a grammar cube, I have a grammar cube, and we do it at the same time, as if we are present in the same classroom. So it's possible to use it. And that is my new product, as I promised. It's something that I have not presented before. It's magnetic and it's new. My last remark is the following. Teachers are the heart of education. Students can learn a lot from the internet. Here we see 31 million results for past simple, but still students don't like it. I mean, students need a teacher. Students need a real person, a person with emotions, a person with their personality to present the material. That's why our work will always stay. And it's great that today we share, we communicate. And I would like to thank once again the ABIC team and of our ELT community for such a chance for us to get together and to share what we love and what we can do. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Peter Anatolievich Stepichev. Any comments? We're seeing some very nice comments, and you're also seeing them. Is that right, Dr. Stepichev?
Yeah, sure.
Right, good.
Okay.
One of the question is, are you trying to use such technologies and instruments with senior students?
Yeah. For example, my grammar cubes, children look at them as toys, but grown-up students look at them as models. Actually, I have a patent for the grammar cube, and in the patent, it is written a useful model, полезная модель, a patent for the useful model. So 30% of people are kinesthetic. They need to touch grammar. And they get it easier when they touch it. And I just use a bit different tool. I mean, it cannot be just the simplest version of grammar cube. It can be like this. They have been working like this. So I just use a more sophisticated version. Or for example, I play not first steps, but I play phrasal verbs. So I have a set of games for the intermediate, upper intermediate levels. I do have more for children, but still I have a lot of things for all categories.
We will be looking forward to your new games and instruments when you come to us in UFA. Wonderful. Thank you very much again, Dr. Peter Anatolievich Stepichev. It's wonderful having you at our forum. Thank you again. And we go over to the next presentation.